So can 2 wins on the trot for Ipswich Town become 3 with match night on BBC Radio Suffolk? The Blues are back at Portman Road for their latest fixture with Watford. Let's join our commentary team. Former Town captain Mick Mills is back alongside Brenna Woolley.
Charlton aside, Town's form here has been good this season. Tonight they're targeting a 5th win in 6 at Portman Road, and also their 3rd victory in a row anywhere off the back of Saturday's success at QPR. With 2 more matches, including this one, to go before the final international break of 2025. Be a healthy return if the Blues could end up with 12 points from the 18 available during this little spell. Another early goal would also be nice. 1 in each half certainly helped at the weekend. In terms of Watford, well, as ever, they're tricky to predict given the way they chop and change managers. Now, a group of players, many of whom are complete unknowns to us. While they had an eye-catching 3-0 win over second-place Middlesbrough at the weekend, they've yet to taste victory on their travels, taking just 2 points from their 6 fixtures away from Vicarage Road. So on that basis, there's reason to feel quietly confident perhaps, although there is also the caveat they will win away at some point. Mick Mills, how are you feeling about this one ahead of kick-off tonight?
Well, I really sort of can't say too much. I'm a little bit like you. I don't know this team very well. You know, I know a few Watford teams that we've met in recent times. They've always been talented, probably better individually than collectively, you know, and I think from what I gather, this team is similar. You know, a lot of individual talent that maybe haven't quite got it together as a team, and really saying that about the opposition, you've got to say that about Ipswich as well, you know, because most of this season we've been probably better as individuals than we have as a team. It's taken a long time to completely gel like we've seen of Ipswich over the last 2 or 3 years, you know, but Saturday's result, that was an excellent one, that really was, you know, and that will have done us the power of good. I think West Bromwich was a good result, but I don't think they would have gained an awful lot from their performance. I think that was a very, very tight occasion, but Saturday was different. You know, I think when we walked off the pitch at Loftus Road, I think we would have been feeling really good about ourselves, and there's no reason why at the start of this game we shouldn't be feeling very, very confident.
Ahead of Remembrance Day, this is Ipswich Town's designated remembrance match tonight, honouring those who've made the ultimate sacrifice while serving in the armed forces. The players are gathering around the centre circle at Portman Road. The 2 players, the 2 captains on the centre spot at the moment. There will be the playing of the last post and then a minute's silence for members of the 28th Engineer Regiment based at Honington on the pitch.
As we remember all those lost, which will end on the referee's whistle. They shall grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
As the 2 teams head towards their pre-match huddles Either side of the halfway line, Town in their blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks, and Watford in their yellow tops with red stripes, red shorts, red socks. Ipswich Town made 3 changes from the 4-1 win at QPR at the weekend. Davis is out injured, Taylor and Nunez dropped to the bench. In come Johnson, Kayuste and Akpom. So it's Walton in goal, and that's a back 4 of Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre and Johnson, and that's Matusiwa alongside Kayuste. A 3 of Eggerly, Akpom and Philogene, and Hurst is up top for Ipswich Town. On the bench, Button, Clark, Taylor, Young, Humphreys, Greaves, Nunez, McAteer and Athon back involved after he was out injured at the weekend. 3 changes for Watford. Out go Kebben, Vata and Kirumbo. In come Abankwah, Ince and Semedo. Selvik is their keeper. Got back 4 of Ngakia, Pollock, Abankwah and Bowler. Then it's Barr, Loser the captain, Kiprianu and Ince. Up front, Semedo and Doumbia. Rare 4-4-2 the visitors play. On the bench, Baxter, Elaine, Kirungo, Sissoko, Morris, Petri, Kayembe, Maama and Irankunda. So it's Ipswich Town with the yellow ball on the centre spot. Chuba Akpom with his gloves on, getting ready to get this championship fixture. Ipswich Town's 13th of the season underway. They've won 5, drawn 4 and lost 3 of the previous 12. Let's see what the 3rd midweek league game of the season brings. They've had a draw with Bristol City and of course the defeat to Charlton. Let's see if they get their first midweek victory of the campaign under the lights here as David Webb, the referee, gets this game underway. Good atmosphere at Portman Road. As Town go long out to the far side. They're playing from left to right. Johnson, his first involvement, gets across into the Watford area. Not the worst one at all. Headed out behind by Bowler, the left back. So Ipswich Town on the front foot as they were on Saturday. And once again, trying to score inside the opening 90 seconds. They've got a corner kick.
Well, you certainly would take that for a start, but I think that it was a mistake by the left back. It was an expensive one.
Corner kick to Ipswich. Eggerly in the absence of Leif Davis on this by the tunnel off to our right hand side. He created a goal inside 90 seconds at the weekend. What can the Norwegian do from this dead ball situation? Nothing in the immediate future because the referee wants to sort out something inside the 6-yard area off to our right. A little battle between Hurst and Ngakia. Finally, Mr. Webb blows his whistle. First corner kick of the game inside the 2nd minute. Eggerly hoists it beyond the far post up into the hands of the keeper Selvik, the Norwegian in all pink. That's a comfortable, confidence-boosting take for him.
Yeah, it's a poor corner. It's too floaty. You know, it's so easy for the goalkeeper to adjust his position and take care of that. That's got to have more pace.
There is the ponytailed Loser, very talented player, the number 10 for Watford in midfield. Speaking to a Watford fan yesterday, she was telling me they're amazed, and as every transfer window goes by, that he's still at Vicarage Road. Throw in on the far side of the field. It's Johnson, the makeshift left back for Ipswich Town tonight, and the rare absence of Leif Davis. Here is Dara O'Shea, now the only ever present in the league for Ipswich Town this season. Kayuste just slotting in between Kipre and Johnson on the far side momentarily, the midfielder. O'Shea's got the ball centrally at the back. Plays it to the left-hand side, and Kipre will be pleased to keep his place in this side. Of course, there was the option to bring in Greaves to the back line tonight. Here is Darnell Furlong. Back he goes to O'Shea. Town with plenty of possession inside their own half at the moment. Pitch obviously in really good shape. Well watered ahead of this one. The sprinklers have been on. Poor pass from Kipre, well away from Philogene. Ball out far side.
Yeah, a little bit of possession for Town. Watford are an unusual team nowadays in as much that they play a 4-4-2, so it'd be interesting to see how our centre halves cope with that, because it's an unusual system.
Here come Ipswich Town. Akpom up to Hurst. Hurst couldn't control the ball under pressure from Ngakia, but it was the legal pressure from Ngakia, says the referee. It's interesting that Barr's playing down the left for Watford, Ince down the right. A slight tweak to the system we expected. More importantly, Town have got a really good opportunity to test Selvik from this free kick, whereas Marcelino Nunez when you need him.
Exactly.
He would have loved this. This would have been inch perfect for him, about 30 yards from goal, maybe a little closer than that. O'Shea having a word with Mr. Webb, the referee, who's now pacing out his 10 yards. That's a yard or so back into the Watford area, where none too keen band of 3 players eventually lining up behind the white stripe. Free kick to Ipswich Town, around about 27 yards from goal, left of centre. Philogene is the only contender for this one inside the 4th minute. Forward he comes, gets it up, but it's still up, and it's over.
Now that's 2 set plays we've had, which is nice start, you know, to have a corner kick and a free kick in that type of position within 4 minutes. But we've wasted both of them. First one, the corner was too loopy, no pace. That one had plenty of pace on it, but didn't deal with the height.
9 different nationalities in this Watford side. Here is the Cypriot in midfield, Cipriani, out to this left-hand side. Barr gives it to Bowler, and now Pollock, who goes back to his goalkeeper Selvett, just outside his 6-yard area, off to our right. He goes to Loser. Loser touches it around the corner to the right-hand side, and it's Ngakia, the number 2. Early ball forward down the right-hand side gives Doumbia a chance to open his legs, but across goes O'Shea, snuffing out the danger. Read it well, the captain. Controlled over on the far side by Abankwah. Just playing to the right of Pollock as the 2 centre-halves. Bowler, back in English football after a spell in Turkey, the former Blackpool and Middlesbrough player. Left-footed from Selvett, cushioned by Kipre, far too casual, not good enough, but the touch was heavy, thankfully, from Barr, and he's guided it into touch for a turn through.
Yeah, nobody's really, I mean, we've had our 2 set plays, but nobody's really sort of settled really into this game, because they're both giving the ball away a lot.
Town unbeaten in the last 4 against Watford. 3 wins and a draw. 0-0 here, actually, in the promotion season of a couple of years ago, after Town had won 2-1 at Vicarage Road earlier on in the campaign. Sam Morsey with a late winner, I remember, after a George Hurst equaliser at Vicarage Road. Nice play from Watford down the left-hand side. Here is Barr, loves to run at defenders outside the Ipswich area, gets inside the box. O'Shea is nudged off the ball, he plays it off O'Shea. Town get a bit of good fortune, could so easily have gone out for a Watford corner, but it's trickled back to Walton.
Yeah, they'd be furious, Town, that they actually managed to work that ball up the left touchline. That should have been, there should have been a challenge, a tackle or something coming in there, because Watford were really struggling to get up that touchline, but we allowed them to do it.
What a young squad, Watford. The front 2 are 19 and 20. Walton playing it out to O'Shea. Talk about Town having that little run of 4 unbeaten against Watford. Watford have only lost 1 in their last 11 visits to this ground. It's been a happy hunting ground, Portman Road, for Watford when they've been here. Given away terribly by Kipre. It's the second time he's been a bit wasteful in possession. Cipriani gives it to Loser, who goes back to Pollock, one of those 3 English players in the side. Here's another Bowler. Bowler down the line, had just kept it in play. Here is Doumbia, tall, leggy player, gets his left-footed ball into the centre of the Town half, where Kayuste controls it on his chest. Read by Ngakia against Philogene. Ngakia comes away with the ball. Philogene having to do some defending, which he's done well, but no loss to Ngakia, now taken on Johnson. He goes down, but no foul. Well spotted by the referee's assistant far side. He was just off balance, Ngakia, when he fell. Matusiwa, left-footed, good ball forward to Hurst, who has just not managed to keep it in on the far side. That was promising when he started to get away, Hurst. Disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think it just sort of overplayed it. I mean, the ball was a decent ball, the run was good. It's just been beaten by about 3 or 4 inches, that's all.
Last Town win here over Watford 11 years ago. Tommy Smith, the only goal scorer on that occasion. Here is Bowler underneath us. In terms of the league table, it's 9th versus 10th between these 2 teams. 3 points would be big, put an extra sheen on the early championship table if either side could get those 3 points here tonight. Matusiwa in the centre circle, forward between the lines to Akpom. Town playing with poppies on their blue shirts. Coming infield, Eggley, excellent run from Eggley, in between 2 players, little clever backheel to Akpom, edge of the area. Akpom stumbles, can't control it. Loser with the armband on, infield for Watford. That's too much of Barr. Furlong nipped in there and gets it back to Kipre. Kipre along the floor, finding Ben Johnson drifting infield. Johnson momentarily. Now Dara O'Shea, back by noise largely coming from the north stand, and fine voice tonight, good atmosphere. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk, still 0-0. Johnson down the left-hand side in front of the Watford fans. In comes a good-looking cross, headed away by the Irishman Abankwah, controlled by Matusiwa. Out to this near side, directly underneath us, Darnell Furlong, who was sent off by this referee earlier on in the season. Furlong, whilst at West Brom, Kayuste and O'Shea exchange passes. Matusiwa, the number 5, disguised ball forward to Kayuste, plays a 1-2 with Akpom, lovely play from Town. Oh, brilliant from Kayuste, but his shot is wide. He nutmegged Pollock, lovely silky control from the Swede, but his right-footed effort was all swinging away from the far post.
Yeah, beautiful 1-2. His shot was a little bit sort of, I don't know, a little bit apologetic for me, you know, instead of really sort of getting it firm and into that far corner, but it's a good move for him. And there was a nice bit of movement from Eggerly about a minute or so ago. He looked a little bit more confident after his good entrance or his good game on Saturday.
So easy on the eye and good to watch Kayuste at moments like that. Lovely footballer. Furlong heads the ball onto the chest of the blonde-haired Eggerly, who tries a little back heel, hits the Watford defender Bowler. Barr once again had it, lost it, and has now won it back well. Here is the big man Pollock to the ever-available Loser. Cost 8.6 million 4 years ago now. Loser has been at Watford a little while. Here he is once again. 5 goals this season, all in his last 7 appearances as well, and he scored in his last 3 games, Loser. So in a rich vein of form for Watford. O'Shea takes a knock to the head as he was battling there with Doumbia. Furlong was also hurt just momentarily ahead of that by a Watford player. O'Shea's down on all 4s, but will be okay. 10 gone. We are still looking for the first goal of the night here at Portman Road.
Yeah, it's been an okay start for me. You know, that we've got ourselves a nice corner early on. We got a free kick which was in a shootable distance, and then I thought Eggerly made a nice run down this right wing, so he's playing with more confidence than he used to, and then produced beautiful 1-2 with a colleague, and so there's little bits that are nice about the performance so far.
Watford's 4th season back at this level. Previous to that, they had 6 out of 7 in the Premier League. As Akpom less than impressed by the way that Cipriano went down very easily in the eyes of the on loan Ajax striker. A little bit of afters between the two of them. Big lad Cipriano, built way more like a centre half than a central midfielder. He's played regularly for Peterborough in recent seasons. Played in that game when Town won 3-0 at London Road on the way to promotion from League One a few years ago now. O'Shea square to Kipre, a little mistake from Kipre, but he had got back on the ball before Semedo could do anything with it. Now Walton, who reacted well to that equaliser from QPR on Saturday for the most part, headed down by Ince. Surprised me to see 33 just Tom Ince, seems to have been around forever, as Akpom is tripped by Cipriano. Referee's going to keep an eye on those two.
Yeah, it's worth having a little word, because they've now sort of confronted each other on 2 occasions, and so, you know, you just want to nip it in the bud, really. I mean, it's not his responsibility, Akpom, because Akpom is playing as a number 10 in a 4-4-2. You don't really mark the number 10. You just hope that the 2 lines absolutely stifle what he wants to do.
Furlong on the halfway line with this free kick for Ipswich Town. Still 0-0. They're hosting Watford tonight under the lights at Portman Road. Then we are at Swansea on Saturday. Town trying for back-to-back away victories in South Wales. Of course, that'd be the Cameron Burgess reunion as well. Be nice to catch up with him, hopefully, at some stage. Here is O'Shea, just the Ipswich Town side of the centre circle, pointing. Speaking of Matusiwa in front of him, instead goes square to Kipre, who along the deck gives it to Philogene. Philogene was quiet at the weekend. Johnson with a good switch of play, excellent from the left back, onto the chest of Eggerly, uses Furlong as a decoy. Left-footed cross, a really good ball in, headed away excellently by Ngakia. Otherwise, Philogene and Johnson were queuing up for a point-blank header, probably into the net. As Watford play a risky ball into their area, they've got away with it. Abankwah was caught late. The referees played an advantage. Watford have the ball, not for long. One back by Ipswich Town and then carried out by Kiyusta.
Yeah, that was a super ball that Eggely's played in. Nice to see Furlong going on an overlap just to give him an option. That's what they did on Saturday down at Loftus Road, so that's better from those two. And then, of course, that ball was a little bit of a risky one coming out as well, so it's interesting. I'm just watching the Johnson-Philogene sort of pairing to see what they do as a pair, and on that occasion the balls come in from the right hand side and both of them are in the penalty area.
In the 14th minute, Mick Mills alongside me at Portman Road watching this game. Watford having to do some defending at right back as Town closed down over in the far corner. Ball zipped up to halfway. Matusiwa's header goes up into the air. Johnson can't do anything with an awkward ball dropping over his shoulder, and it's another throw in to Watford on the far side. Finished 14th last season, 15th the year before, 11th the year before that. They haven't really been knocking on the door of the playoffs in recent seasons after being something of a yo-yo club for many years, really. Or, as I said earlier, residents in the Premier League a fair old bit for a while. Watford through Loser gets it to Ngakia. Loser then gives it back to Abankwah. That one change in their back four ahead of kick-off. Selvik, been their first choice keeper for over 18 months now, plays a long left-footed ball downfield. O'Shea wins it. Matusiwa now battling with Barr, given away under pressure by the Dutchman. Barr has it infield, good play from him, finding Cipriano goes square to Loser, always seems to be in space, the Watford captain. Ince cutting infield from right wing. Ince goes square to Bowler. Watford coming forward down this left-hand side. Town have plenty players back. Bowler has the ball, forced back to Pollock. Once again down the left wing, little nutmeg through the legs of Eggely, nicely played by Barr, back to Bowler. Bowler into the middle, Watford score. Loser scores for the fourth game in a row to give Watford a 1-0 lead in the 16th minute at Portman Road.
Well, it's just two little bits of clever skill, if you like. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. On both occasions there, it came off for the Watford players. But just prior to that, I'm thinking, like you've been saying already, that the general in the team is Loser.
Isn't he?
He was on the ball a couple of times in the centre of midfield, and then we sort of our attention's taken to the build-up down the left-hand side. And before you know it, the ball comes in, and who's putting it in the back of the net is Loser. So he's not just a midfield general, he's also a goal scorer, and that is very difficult to do.
6 goals in 8 games for him now. Has to be one of the most informed players in the second tier. I enjoyed those celebrations, the Moroccan. So what can Ipswich Town do from 1-0 behind to Watford? Watford players being booed because 5 of them are still inside the Ipswich Town half of the field, with Chuba Akpom desperate to get play back underway.
I think they've learned that from Connor Chaplin, so that our crowd shouldn't get annoyed about it. They've seen it enough time.
Yeah, it was a well-worn tactic. Here is O'Shea belting it long for Ipswich Town, as they did from their first kick-off of the game. This one's gone out of play directly from O'Shea. So it's a throw to Watford underneath their happy band of supporters. It's Ngakia, the DR Congo international, former West Ham player. Played in the Premier League actually for West Ham 5 times. He's got this throw in underneath those happy faces. And he gets it back in Ngakia. Left-footed switch from him to this near side. Barr will track back and control the ball on his chest, the number 34. Here's Bowler to Pollock, just inside his penalty area. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. All the noise at the moment coming from the Watford supporters. Pollock to Bowler, trying to play it out from the back beyond Ipswich Town's press. Then it goes high up in the air to Doumbia. All 6'4" of them, chested down in midfield by Semedo. As Kipre, roared on by the home crowd, dribbles the ball to an area approaching the halfway line, but then tucks it square to O'Shea. Javi Gracia, the manager of Watford in his second spell in charge, was there during the 18-19 season, originally the Spaniard. A popular appointment in the last couple of weeks. O'Shea 17 managers in 10 years. Watford has been a revolving door at Vicarage Road. Here is O'Shea again, into midfield and Kiyuste, trying to get through the gears. The out ball is Egley on the right-hand side. Overlapping is Furlong, chance for him to cross into the Watford box. Good looking ball to the far stick underneath it, but heading it over under pressure was Hurst.
Well, it's our right-hand side again that is sort of looking lively between the two. Egley receives the ball, a little ball from Kajus. A lot of space. He's sort of finding a lot of space here on our right-hand side. He's just deep of the left back in front of the left-sided attacker, and he receives the ball, and then off goes Darnell Furlong. Well done, Darnell Furlong.
Town just one defeat here in their last 27 championship games. Lost that one against Charlton last time around. They've been unbeaten here since the defeat to Leeds early on in their promotion season, and actually only 2 losses here in their last 46 outside the Premier League. Those Leeds and Charlton losses. A big surprise if they were to lose back-to-back games here. It's Kipre, left-footed over the top for Philogene. Philogene controls it well inside the Watford area. It wouldn't quite sit down for him, but he's got it back 30 yards out. Has options left and right, or he can hold on to himself. Philogene to Johnson. Down the left-hand side of the Watford area, up against Inspach defending. Johnson's cross is deflected. Philogene in the D. Can he get a shot away? Still has it. Philogene to Egley, just inside the area. Left-footed, good-looking ball in from Egley. Headed away well by Cipriano, it was, back helping out. As Loser, the goal scorer, heads it to Johnson. Trying to get it back through Mattis Siwa. Takes a couple of Watford players out of the game with a shimmy. Now Johnson, the left back, blocked off as he tried to go square to Kiyuste. Town 1-0 behind. Kipre has the ball. Kieran McKenna's arms folded down below us. Mattis Siwa to Philogene by the corner flag next to the Watford fans and that big screen in the far right corner. Johnson's cross comes in centrally. Selvig has flapped at it, slipped through his fingers, cleared away by Bowler. Can have a little bit of momentum behind them at the moment.
Yeah, they're pushing Watford back, and the left side of our team is starting to come alive. The right side has started really well, so there's lots of crosses coming in now from either side.
Kipre, lovely ball from Kipre to Philogene, in on goal! 1-1! Beautiful goal from Ipswich Town. More players are going towards Kipre than Philogene. It was a wonderful ball through from the big centre half, and Philogene converted into the far corner for his 6th of the season. After 21 minutes, it's Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1.
Yeah, we deserve to come back. We just started to come alive on the left-hand side. Kipre picks out the pass really well. It's an excellent run by Philogene, but defenders really, why don't they stay with runners? I mean, awful defending from Watford, but excellent pick out first of all by Kipre. Terrific run by Philogene, and the finish is excellent.
Yeah, 6 for the season, 1 more than both Clark and Hurst. Nobody's really joining in with the Philogene bit. I'd just give up if I were you, PA man. He's giving it the big Jade and desperate for the Philogene to come from the crowd, and nobody can be bothered. I think it's your job, crack on with it. 1-1 after the first quarter of this game, as Watford get things back underway with the ball back to Selvig in the D. Cleared left-footed forward, bit of afters between Hurst and Abankwah. Pollock nods it down. Up in there it goes from Bowler over the halfway line. There's a tangle between Mattis Siwa and also Doumbia. Kieran McKenna appealing for something, but it's Doumbia that's on the floor. Great play from Akpom, really strong. He runs into Pollock, who upends him. It's going to be a yellow card for the big number 6. Akpom's downwinded. Paddy Garcia speaking to the 4th official as well, the Watford manager. Now Kieran McKenna, he's got one manager in either ear. Akpom's still on the deck.
Yeah, I think it was a bad challenge. I mean, it was a hip throw.
Akpom's still lying there, his shirt up his torso. No need at the moment for anybody to come on.
Oh. You could see that in a wrestling ring. That was unbelievable by this number 6 Pollock. Just completely took him It was just put your hip there and let him sort of go flying over the top and do a double somersault.
Referee's having a word with Pollock as we speak, as a number of players from both teams come across to speak to their managers underneath us. As far as I can see, hasn't shown a card yet. Imran Loser is there as well, as he's entitled to be as the captain. He got the first goal, but Jaden Philogene recently just equalised for Ipswich Town, and we are 1-1 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Akpom sitting up, just understandably checking his neck and his head and everything to make sure that he's okay. Certainly ahead of him, just tilting his head one way than the other, the Ipswich Town physio. Still no card for Pollock. I don't know why he's taken so long if he's going to give him one. The players in dribs and drabs just heading back out onto the field.
I think Loser was putting a very strong case there, which seemed to take for ages, and that's delayed the referee from taking action. But he should take action. I mean, it's a bad challenge. It really is.
Akpom is up, just holding the back of his neck. For the moment, let's go back to Graham at 1-1.
Goalless in all the other games in the Championship tonight, apart from at Oxford, where Stoke have the lead through Lewis Baker, 1-0.
Still no card for Matty Pollock, and nor will there be. But more importantly, Akpom, after a long chat with Kieran McKenna, is thankfully about to come back on for Ipswich Town. Play going to resume with a Dara O'Shea free kick. Pretty much 25 minutes gone in this championship match. Akpom still not overly comfortable. Furlong's been left to crack on with set-piece duties. Gives it short to O'Shea on the centre spot. Here is Kipre, an excellent assist against his name tonight. O'Shea back to Walton, who's barely been mentioned in this match. Walton short to Matuseva. That was risky, but it worked. No, Furlong can't control it. For a second I thought it was going to bar from Matuseva. It's gone out of play for a through to Watford. Bowler closed down by Matuseva and Eggley. Throwing goes back to Loser. Loser then finds Abankwah, actually on loan from Udinese. Strong connection between the two clubs. Abankwah, albeit he's an Irishman. He then goes back to Selvik. Selvik passes it out to the left back area. Pollock's pass is loose. Matuseva finds Kayuste on the right wing now. Eggley overlapping his Furlong. Eggley comes in field, left footer, puts the ball into the box, hits the backside of Loser. Bar to Loser. Loser hits it forward, but it's intercepted by Matuseva. Kayuste bundled to the ground by Cipriani. The referee says that was fine. Play on. Ipswich have the ball. Bobby Grotzi has blown a gasket underneath us. Here's goal scorer Philogene on the far side. Now Johnson. 3 changes for Town tonight. Johnson, Kayuste and Akpom in for the injured Davis. Taylor and Nunez both on the bench. Kipre again linking up with Philogene. Too heavy a touch from the England under-21 man though. Amankwa comes away with the ball. Well won by Matuseva. Kayuste for Ipswich to Philogene. Philogene to the right-hand side and Eggley. Eggley should keep the ball in by the corner flag. He's done well in the end. Trying to put it through the legs of Bowler. Bowler clears after an intervention from Loser. Kieran McKenna almost acting as a ball boy, desperate to get play back underway. Furlong with a throw into the area, headed down by Eggley, up and away off the outside of Abankwa's right boot. Doumbia battling for the ball. It eventually goes down to Cipriani, who finds Ngakia. Back with Cipriani, quickly onto Ince. Ince closed down. The ball breaks to Akpom, bundled into from behind by Loser. Free kick. Loser clearly disagrees with that decision, but it's been given by Mr. Webb. A little bit messy at the moment. Kieran McKenna's annoyed by the decision.
It's a free kick. I don't know what they're arguing over. You know, I can't see this Watford team at the moment. I don't know. You know, we were sort of a bit. You know, we were coming sort of to watch them. We didn't know a lot about them. We talked about them individually as opposed to collectively, and I think that's probably right. But there's not too many players emerging as good individuals. Loser, without question. But where are the other talented players? At the moment, Town are dominating this game for me. I know it's only 1-1, but we look much better than Watford at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Look far more the team, the boys in blue. Free kick to Ipswich Town. It's a good 35 plus yards from goal. Johnson gives it to Philogene. Philogene puts it into the area. Stomped away by Watford defender. Collected by Doumbia. Offside given, I think, against Ipswich Town. Certainly a Watford free kick at the back. It's a bit messy as well, this game at the moment. 28.5 minutes played at Portman Road. Good crowd as well, as Selvik gets ready to take this set piece. Gives it to Abankwah. Back to Selvik. Out to the left-hand side. Pollock, the centre half, closed down by Akpom, gets it up to halfway. Matusiwa's header in field, bounces off the shoulder of Semedo. Not pulled down by Furlong, despite the Watford protests. Here comes Kiyuste on a run, loses it to Bowler. Infield to the danger man, Loser. Loser looks up and swipes it to his right-hand side. And Ince, 5 career goals against Ipswich in the past, Ince for Blackpool. There's one of the clubs. Derby is another one. Stoke as well. He scored against Town 4. Ball over the top from Loser. Barr's going to go after it, but it's Walton's.
Yeah, it's really difficult to fathom out this team that we're playing Watford. I mean, Loser, yes, he's head and shoulders. You know what he can do, and it's pretty much everything. But the others, I can't see anything at all. You know, we've just got to keep playing to our strengths and keep our heads, and we can get this. Not like that. Terrible
from O'Shea. Gave it straight to Barr. Loser on the ball, but in centre field for Watford. Not even he can do too much from that kind of area. Here he is back on it once again. Goes square to Pollock in front of us. We've played exactly half an hour at Portman Road, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Loser and Philogene with the goals for either side. Cipriano knocks the ball up to the front line, headed away by Furlong, nodded on by Kiyuste, glanced back by Cipriano to his keeper.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that we can control this game right the way through if we're sensible about it, you know, and because all the play basically has been sort of very much in the Watford half.
Abankwah, who came in ahead of Kebben, who played alongside Pollock at the weekend. Back it goes with Pollock. Pollock picks out a decent pass in midfield to Cipriano. Watford still short of the halfway line though, so lots of work to be done. 10 blue shirts in front of them, but McMills is just saying Town by far the better side in this first half. Pretty much the only time Watford come forward is the time that they scored. Town have been knocking on the door without forcing save after save from Selvik. Far more of a threat in the final third as Athon and McAteer jog back towards the bench underneath us in their red vests. Here is Darragh O'Shea as the wind picks up at Portman Road. Still fairly good conditions for this game though. Now Philogene, who made it 1-1 up against Ngakia, tormenting his man, coming in field Philogene, then delivers right-footed into the area towards Egley. Egley can't do anything with it, trying to hook the ball back into play. It's out into the Sir Alf Ramsey stand.
Yeah, just overhit really. He's got a lot of room, Philogene, to come in on his right foot, but he's never got into a shooting sort of distance there. So I think he's to try and play that type of ball. I didn't see any sort of future in it. I think you just give it to one of your central midfield players and let's start again.
10 years now since the famous Richard Chaplow late winner at Vicarage Road. It was a wonderful moment that, from Ipswich Town's perspective, and even more scary, 21 years since the Dean Bowditch hat-trick that Saturday lunchtime when he was only 17, Dean, when he scored a hat-trick in the Championship in a 4-1 win. That was a Watford side that included Sean Dyche that afternoon. Couldn't handle Bowditch. Here is Kipper at the back for Town. Square, he finds O'Shea, as two have seen a fair bit of the ball. O'Shea out to the far side of Philogene. Philogene heads it back in, only for Semedo, who gives it straight back to Philogene. Philogene bundled to the ground by Ince. Play on, says Mr. Webb. Kieran McKenna again frustrated whenever one of those decisions go against Town. They look straight down at Kieran, absolutely exasperated, can't hide his emotions. He and Martin Pert now looking at one of their screens down below us that they have access to, the technology in the game nowadays. Abankwah finds Cipriano in between centre-half and right-back. Cipriano crossing halfway in front of the cobbled standing Gakia, the right-back, infield. Watford eventually get it back onto the centre spot. And it's with Pollock once again. Watford, who led 1-0 at the moment, unable to get forward and pose a threat off to our left-hand side as Pollock turns away from Akpom. A few fans got excited at the prospect of him turning into trouble. Out from Selvik to Bowler, and then belted long up towards Doumbia. Now Bowler again down this left-hand side, blocked off his pass in field by Matusiwa. Egeli to Kayuste, and then Watford have it with their goalkeeper Selvik. Not much of
struggling Watford. They end up always, this ball comes here, they try and play it up the left touch line, they lose it, and there's very little else, and if they can't find Loser with the ball, they've got nothing.
In some space in midfield, left-footed, he chops it forward. O'Shea heads it away and into the chest of Bowler. A rare opportunity for Watford to come forward down this left-hand side from which they scored their goal. Barr hangs it towards the far post. There's a player there, glancing header out behind by Johnson. It was the right thing to do in that area. He had a man in behind him, Semedo I think it was. It's a corner kick to Watford, the first of the night, and no surprise to see who's taking it.
Yeah, there was nothing he seriously could do there. I just wondered whether Christian could have come and dealt with it, but it did seem to drift too far to the left-hand side, and you have to give a corner away if it's necessary.
10 minutes to go until half-time. Imran Loser, the captain of Watford, on this corner kick off to our left-hand side. It's a rare chance for them to attack Christian Walton's goal, and it comes from Loser. Not good delivery. The ball goes back to Loser though, bit of good fortune now in Ngakia, and Ngakia plays it off of an Ipswich Town defender, Johnson, who's on the deck for another corner kick. Was that news from elsewhere? Yeah,
Derby 1, Hull 0, Birmingham 1, Millwall 0, Stoke 2 up at Oxford.
Stoke hanging around at the top of the table, doing well. Good manager though. Corner kick to Watford, their second in quick succession, in from Loser towards the near post, headed down, hasn't been cleared. Oh, the shot comes off of Dara O'Shea. That was really travelling and might well have ended up in the back of the net, so well blocked off by the captain.
Yeah, it was a good block, good shot, crisp, it was staying low, had plenty of pace on it, you know, it would have been dangerous.
Barr coming across to take this throw-in. German-born Barr. Was an England under-18 international and switched to Germany at under-19 level. Actually played for Rochdale Bar a few years ago in that awful 0-0 Easter Monday that Ipswich Town were up in the northwest as a young man. But even he could bring that game into life. Here is Kipre, bundled over by Doumbia, who's furious at Kipre for going down too easily in his mind. Again, 2 balls on the field. That's the problem, this multi-ball. We have seen 36.5 minutes worth of action here on BBC Radio Suffolk tonight. Town 1, Watford 1. Walton inside his area, gives it to O'Shea, still inside his area. He takes it out and then passes it up towards Hurst, who's got to make it stick. He does well enough. Hurst gets it back to Kayuste. Kayuste to the right hand side. Egeli, nice take on the outside of his left boot, running at his man. Good play from Egeli. He's having a bright game down the right hand side. Into the middle, his fizzing cross comes, hooked away by Pollock to Kipre. Kipre, nice little ball into the gap to Matusiwa. Thought his touch was a bit too heavy, but he's held on to it. Eventually leaves it to Philogene. Philogene bursting in field to Kayuste. Turns. Kayuste 30 yards from goal. Gets a bit closer. Gives it to Egeli, the number 8, on his left foot. Overlapping is Kayuste. Picked out into the ball. A centre comes his cross. Headed down by Hurst under pressure. Couldn't reach the goal line. Nodded back into a dangerous area by Johnson. Up in the air from Loser. Matusiwa rises. And the ball's back with Selvik, who gets the option of a kick out of his hands if he wishes.
Well, that's good play there, you know, that's Furlong again. We saw Furlong going on and overlap, getting himself pretty much to the byline, and it's nice to see us sort of sharing, you know, where we look dangerous. Both tonight we're dangerous both right and left, you know, in a different sort of way. But we carry a threat on both sides of the pitch, which is good to see.
Yeah, I'm enjoying watching Eggerly more and more. I see this lad, you can tell he's going to be a player. You know what Philogene all about this season. Great numbers from Philogene, 6 goals from a wide area. In terms of goals from wide positions, must be right up there in the Championship in terms of as many as, if not as many, more than anyone. Good play from Doumbia. Taking on Oldcomers, lifted the ball over the top of Johnson, but Johnson bit back and knocked it out far side for another throw to Watford. Taken by Ngakia. Gets it back to Abankwah. 38.5 minutes played in this Championship fixture. Very animated, Javi Gracia, continually on at the 4th official, who's David Rock tonight. Ball in field from Ngakia to Ince, can't control it. O'Shea gets there out of Semedo. Clipped forward by Cipriano. Doumbia's going after it. Johnson got it away, nicely controlled by Philogene. Really good play from him. Philogene in field onto the chest of Akpom. Hurst's on his bike. Oh, unlucky. Akpom tried to thread it through to Hurst. It was blocked off by Watford. Otherwise, Hurst was away. Here come Watford with Bowler on the left corner of the Ipswich area. Dangerous ball in, well dealt with by Kipre. Out to Barr, the left winger, running it furlong. Going back into his area, goes in square, blocked off by O'Shea, headed out of the box by Kayuste. Loser is battling with Akpom. Akpom goes to ground, doesn't get onto the ball. Eggerly does. Nicely chipped away. Then he tried to find Philogene. The ball eventually does get to Philogene as a couple of wounded bodies rise. Clever play from Philogene. Lovely little back heel to Kayuste. Crossing halfway, Hurst's made a run, hasn't got the ball. He's now offside. Kayuste's held on to it. To the left-hand side, Philogene, 1-1. He looks up, thought about crossing. Lovely little drag back taken on Ngakia. Held up, quite literally, the referee says play on. Philogene tries to get it to the overlapping Johnson. Watford come away with it, but Matthew Seaver should win it back. He's caught late. Free kick for the foul on Matthew Seaver. Again, Kieran McKenna spreads his arms wide underneath us.
Yeah, there's been some scruffy challenges, they really have. You know, they're trying to sort of win the ball, but they're not really winning it in a very fair way.
No cards so far, or is there going to be one for Ngakia? I don't think so. Looks like a final warning from Mr. Webb. Town without a booking in their last 3 games, which is a real rarity. Quick goal news from Graham.
Sheffield United 1-up at Coventry.
Wow. Talking of Sheffield, Norwich City at Hillsborough tomorrow night. What a big game that is for Liam Manning. One of the Wednesday fixtures in the Championship. Also Preston Swansea. Town's next opponents are at Preston. QPR Southampton. That's a big one for Southampton without a manager. And Portsmouth at home to Wrexham. Free kick to Ipswich Town, around about 30 yards from goal. Johnson plants it into the Watford area. Looks a dangerous ball, headed down by Kipre off the outside of the post. It wouldn't have counted. The flag was up near side.
It was a nice header in the end, but obviously they have strayed offside. The flag went up immediately, but it was a nice little cushioned header, and tried to guide it into that far corner and hit the post, you know. But it was a decent free kick. You know, the free kick, nothing wrong with that. It's just the run's a little bit too early.
He's done all right, all things considered, Johnson, in this first half, and it was a clear offside looking back at it. We have played pretty much 42 minutes live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Still 1-1, Loser and Philogene with the goals. Loser after 16, Philogene 5 minutes later. Ipswich Town have been the better side as Bowler gets ready to take this throw in underneath us for Watford. Headed in field by Furlong. Eggerly uses his body well. Kayuste gets on the ball, gets it square to Philogene. Now Johnson on the far side for Ipswich, the left, runs the ball out of play under pressure from Ince. It's another throw in. Fans narked. Not quite sure why on this occasion. It's going to be a throw in for Watford. It's the FA Cup final just 6 years ago. Got walloped by Manchester City 6-0. As Cipriano, it's an air shot from him. Town have it through Kayuste. Lovely spin on the ball from the Swede. Then sandwiched out by a couple of players. Good advantage played by the referee. Ping pong between a few bodies as Town tried to break forward. Loser gets it for Watford. rolls it square to Bowler. Loser demands it back, gives it to Barr, back with Loser once again. His touch lets him down. Ball ends up straight with Kieran McKenna underneath us. Furlong throws it up the halfway line to Kiyuste. Back to O'Shea. Just over 90 seconds in normal time to go at the end of this first half. Can either side take a lead down the tunnel? O'Shea to this right-hand side underneath us, Eggley. And then Furlong into the captain. O'Shea along the deck to Kipre, forming a partnership, getting a run of games, those two. Philogene towards Kiyuste. Nice change of direction, totally Fox Doumbia up towards Hurst. Hurst's done very well. Good play from the number 9. Eggley on the right-hand side, plenty to hit in the middle. In comes his left-footed cross, not good enough on this occasion. Headed away by Pollock, nodded forward by O'Shea, running onto the ball and chesting it into space over on the far side. Watford have it, and bursting forward is a Banquart, the centre half. Wayward pass from him. Cipriano, though, gets there before the onrushing Hurst. He plays it back to Selvik. Selvik inside his 18-yard area. Takes a bit of time before left-footed going down the field. The board is being readied to let us know how much added on time there is going to be. We're into the final minute of the 45. O'Shea urging people to get forward. Carries the ball up as far as Semedo. O'Shea has the ball again in the centre. Looks like it'll be a repeat of Saturday, 1-1 at half-time, unless Akpom into the team for Nunez tonight, trying to thread it through to Philogene. Unlucky, the idea was right. Good run again from Philogene, not spotted. Watford have a chance to break. Let's see how ambitious they are as we go into 3 minutes of added on time. Loser playing it forward. Walton comes out of his area, gets there just ahead of Doumbia. Nice ball forward from Loser. There's a clash there between two players, Furlong and Barr. Again, the Watford bench incensed. Both players thankfully getting back up to their feet. It's a yellow card for Barr. Sarcastic cheers from the home crowd, who clearly believe the referee has been a bit of a fan of Watford in this first half.
Yeah, but I saw the run forward there, and I saw who was on the ball, and it was Loser, and I thought, oh dear. And he did. He almost got a perfect ball over the top of our defence, but Watford have committed a foul. But that seems to be the only thing that they have got to offer, is when Loser gets possession of the ball, if he's got a little bit of time, he does use it well.
Here is Kipre, just crossing halfway. 1-1 as Johnson has it on the far side into the second minute of the added on 3. Eggley beaten in the air by Bowler. Kicked forward by Furlong, cleared off the edge of his box by Matty Pollock. Into touch near side for a throw-in. Back the ball goes to Dara O'Shea, the Ipswich Town captain. 90 seconds to go until half-time. Watford bench again protesting to the fourth official, who's not having the quietest of evenings. Philogene trying to take on and get the better of his man. Far side, Philogene got the final touch as the ball went out. It's going to be a throw-in to Watford.
Yes, it's actually a difficult game to sort of watch, really, because, you know, we're definitely the best side, there's no question about it, but we should really be sort of punishing them a little bit more than what we are.
So yeah, Town at Swansea on Saturday. The next 2 games against Welsh opposition. The next visitors here will be Wrexham 2 weeks on Saturday, and all the razzmatazz that brings, as Ipswich have a free kick in the middle third. Johnson to take it. Possibly a last chance for either side to score their second goal in this first half. Town have got plenty of players forward. The Watford line's about 10 yards outside Selvik's box off to our right. Mr. Webb seems happy enough as Johnson gets ready to take this Free kick for Ipswich, trying to lead for the first time in this championship match. He clips it up to the edge of the Watford area, the right corner, one in the air by O'Shea. Hurst inside the area, gets to the byline. He's done well so far, flanked by 3 players. Really good play from Hurst. O'Shea with an excellent cross into the centre. Johnson went for it but wasn't tall enough. Cleared away up to the halfway line by Watford. That was a terrific cross from the captain. And that's it for the first half. I was just waiting to hear 1 or 2 boos. Purely would have been directed towards the referee. I think the home crowd have got the hump with Mr. Webb, and there literally were just 1 or 2. It's 1-1 at half-time.
Yeah, I think the referee has been very lenient towards Watford, without question. Their sort of challenges are not really very, very good. They sort of always look very unbalanced when they're making the challenges, and invariably they're sort of committed. They're not bad fouls, but they are committing fouls, and they're not being punished, by the referee. The referee should sort of try and stamp it out quickly, because it is making the game very, very bitty. As far as Town are concerned, I think we've done well up to a point. I think that what's nice about our performance is that we are looking a threat down the left and a threat down the right, probably fractionally better down the right than the left, if anything, but we do carry a threat down there. The other area that we seem to be dominant in is Matazua and Cajusta. They're holding a position where the 2 Watford players, who Watford have only got 2 in there, they've got Luza and Kiprianu in there, and they're not sure whether to come down right the way down and mark Cajusta and Matazua, or just hold away from it, because behind them, we have got Akpom, who's trying to sort of get into the space between the back 4 and the midfield 2, and if the midfield 2 do go too far up the pitch, then we would be able to find Akpom a lot more easy than we are at the moment. So they're holding back, and it really means that we can go through our two central midfield players all night long if we want. So we've got a threat down the sides, we've got continuity down through the middle through Matazua and Cajusta, and anything can happen, it really can, but not enough has happened. That's the problem with the game, or our performance at the moment. We're almost there, we're almost in a position to go and win the game, and win the game comfortably, but you've only got to have a little peek at the stats to tell you that there's not enough happened. We've only had sort of 4 attempts at goal with 1 on target. It's not enough when you're so dominant. It really isn't. We've got to do much better in the attacking third of the pitch, in creating good chances. We've got good crosses in there. We have had possibilities, but it's only been possibilities. I do not see anything apart from Loser in this Watford team. They are not a team at all. They haven't got great individuals. I really cannot, apart from him, pick one out that I seriously like and think, oh, he's a good player, we'll have to be careful of him. They've got one and one only that can really hurt us, so we've got to be careful. When Loser gets on the ball, we must be alert in the back 4 to pick off any run that might be made for him to sort of deliver from deep. So at the moment, this is a game for us. This has got every possibility of a home win written on it. So we just got to make sure we come out and win the game.
Yeah, it's a real opportunity for Ipswich Town to go on and get a 3rd successive win. Nice moment at Portman Road at the moment, incidentally. The Ipswich Richards, Chris Louis and Richie Hawkins are here with the Premiership trophy that they won for the first time in 27 years recently. So they're being celebrated at half-time here, where the scoreline is Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1.
8 matches in the Championship tonight in total. Elsewhere, Birmingham City leading Millwall by 2-0. Blackburn Rovers are ahead at Bristol City 1-0. Goalless at the Valley between Charlton and West Brom. Derby lead Hull by a single goal. Leicester took the lead just on the stroke of half-time in their match with Middlesbrough. So Middlesbrough having a tricky time at the moment. Jordan Ayew from the penalty spot for the Foxes. Informed Stoke 2-up at Oxford. Lewis Baker and Stephen Nzonzi with the goals. And in the 8 o'clock kickoff, 40 gone The leaders Coventry are trailing 1-0 at home to Sheffield United. Sam McCallum with the only goal of the game so far. In the Champions League, Arsenal 3-0 winners at Slavia Prague earlier in the 5:45 kickoff. In the two matches of note that kicked off at 8, Liverpool and Real Madrid are goalless at Anfield. Tottenham leading Copenhagen by Brennan Johnson goal to nil. Around the grounds locally, Needham Markets have come from a goal down to lead 2-1 at Stratford Town in the Southern Premier League Central Division. AFC Sudbury are level at 1-1 with Royston. In the Isthmian North Division, Felixstowe and Walton United ahead at home to Brightlingsea. Lowestoft took an early lead in their match with Waltham Abbey through Aaron Bullant. Brantham Athletic, though, trailing 3-0 at Grays Athletic. In a moment, we'll check in with Russell Claydon watching the Suffolk Premier Cup quarter-final between Berrytown and Lakenheath.
Wayne Bavin at breakfast.
Did you used to go to the Lowestoft Air Show? Calling for the event to return is local businessman Marcus Piercy.
It was just an amazing uplift for the business and the community around us.
Some people from the area have told us that they also would like to see it revived.
Most of my childhood memories are spending 2 days down the beach watching the air show with all my family and friends.
If people just to chip in a couple of quid each time in the bucket, that would help to go towards for the next one and the next one and the next one after that.
Wayne Bavin at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Suffolk.
It's match night, 20-9. We'll hear from Ipswich Town's Director of Foundation, Dan Palfrey, in just a moment, talking to Brenner about the EFL's week of action. And our main feature tonight, Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1. We'll bring you first half highlights in a few minutes' time as well before we rejoin Brenner and Mick for the second half. A bit around the grounds locally. Let's catch up with Russell Claydon. He's at Ram Meadow tonight for the first of this season's Suffolk Premier Cup quarter-finals. At Berrytown, at home to Lakenheath. Russell.
A dominant half from High League Bury sees them carry a 2-0 lead into the break in this Endeavour Automotive Suffolk Premier Cup quarter-finals tie against visiting Lakenheath at the Getaway Car Stadium. Goalkeeper Duncan McAnally pushed out an early Ali Conway at his near post before new signing Pedro Carvalho, an Isthmian League North title winner with #United, passed up 2 chances in quick succession to open his Bury account. The Portuguese forward somehow could not steer Mikey Davis's delicious 13th minute cutback on target before heading past the same post in the subsequent corner. But it didn't take long before he got that first goal in style, running free onto Davis's fine left wing cross to meet it with a simple guided volley from close range. After soaking up some late rare Lakenheath pressure, Tails Flowers rattled the top of the crossbar with a long-range effort. There was a stunner from the boot of Davis from 25 yards, which doubled their advantage in the 36th minute, seeing his effort crash in off the underside of the bar. Davis then almost made it free with a shot inside the area that was deflected wide off the far post. Lakenheath, who are yet to register an effort themselves, have it all to do in the second half to avoid exiting the competition.
Thank you, Russell. Just to recap on elsewhere around the grounds locally tonight, Needham Market 2-1 up at Stratford in the Southern Premier League Central Division. AFC Sudbury are level at 1-1 with Royston. Felixstowe and Walton United have doubled their lead at home to Brightlingsea in the Isthmian North Division, so the Seasiders on course to go 4 clear at the top. Lowestoft Town 1 up at Waltham Abbey. Brantham Athletic trading 4-0 on the road at Grays Athletic this evening. The EFL's latest week of action is underway with all 72 clubs, including Ipswich Town, taking part. It's a chance to showcase the vast amount of work that clubs do in their communities, with managers and players visiting projects across the country. Dan Palfrey is Director of Foundation at Portman Road. He says it's an opportunity to highlight some of the successes they've had over the past year.
We have a young man called Charlie, who is a former participant of one of our mental health programs a couple of years ago. And as such, through the programme, how he's grown as an individual, through his education as well, but through his mentorship here at the foundation, we've been able to showcase his journey through following on from his mentorship here at the foundation, and he's now playing a key part. He's a volunteer for us, so volunteers weekly with the foundation on some of our kick sessions at soccer schools and also on match days at Fly the Flag. So, it's a really nice interview with Charlie where he's highlighting the impact that the foundation's had really on his life and has really, enabled him to be the person that he is today. And we're going through various different impact stories and statistics, highlighting the work that we carry out in the community, like you say, 52 weeks of the year, day in, day out, that the team carry out. So we actually are going to be they've launched previously, but we're using the week to amplify the message. But we've got a new dementia cafe that's launching on the Monday mornings. And then we've also recently just officially opened our new Empower Hub, which is in the heart of IP2, which is a community hub aimed at reducing inequalities in that IP2 community and really raising aspirations and giving young people, particularly children and families, equal opportunities. So, yeah, really exciting week. But like you said, it's work that we do 52 weeks of the year, and it's an opportunity for us to really showcase that through this week of action.
How important is it that Ipswich Town, via the foundation, do continue to get involved in the community?
Yeah, massively so, and we're always grateful for the support from the football club right from the very top. We just had the launch of the Empower Hub on Tuesday evening at the and we had Dara O'Shea, Harry Clark, and Mark Ashton in attendance. And we always say in these interviews, it's how genuine that connection is and what it means to the players as well. So really important. We know we've got such a big platform, and we feel with that platform comes a responsibility to do the right thing in the community, and where we've really grown and diversified as an organisation is, being more than just beyond football, using football as the vehicle to motivate, inspire, engage, and whether that be through health projects, whether it's through youth engagement, whether it's taking young people away from a potential life of crime. The football club has such a big brand and a platform, and it's on us to use that in a really powerful way in the community.
That's Ipswich Town's Director of Foundation, Dan Palfrey, talking to Brenner about the EFL's Week of Action. For more of that interview, listen back to the Blue Hour with Brenner, which is up on BBC Sounds. Brenner's with you every Monday from 6 till 7, talking all things Ipswich Town. Dan mentions the Empower Hub as well. There was a feature on that in our previous match day programme when Town beat QPR 4-1. So if you have a listen back to the final hour of that programme, our final whistle hour, there's a feature on the Empower Hub in that. We'll be back at Portman Road for the second half very shortly. Ipswich Town all square with Watford at the break.
Kayuste plays a 1-2 with Akpom. Lovely play from Town. Oh, brilliant from Kayuste, but his shot is wide. He nutmeg Pollock. Lovely silky control from the Swede, but his right-footed effort was all swinging away from the far post. Johnson with a good switch of play, excellent from the left back, onto the chest of Egley, uses Furlong as a decoy, left-footed cross, a really good ball in, headed away excellently by Ngakia. Otherwise Philogene and Johnson were queuing up for a point-blank header, probably into the net. Once again down the left wing, little nutmeg through the legs of Egley, nicely played by Barr, back to Bowler into the middle, Watford score. Loser scores for the fourth game in a row to give Watford a 1-0 lead in the 16th minute at Portman Road. Kipre, lovely ball from Kipre to Philogene, in on goal! 1-1! Beautiful goal from Ipswich Town. More players are going towards Kipre than Philogene. It was a wonderful ball through from the big centre half, and Philogene converted into the far corner for his 6th of the season. After 21 minutes, it's Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1. Johnson plants it into the Watford area. Looks a dangerous ball. Headed down by Kipre off the outside of the post. It wouldn't have counted. The flag was up near side. Hurst inside the area. Gets to the byline. He's done well so far. Flanked by 3 players. Really good play from Hurst. O'Shea with an excellent cross into the centre. Johnson went for it, but wasn't tall enough. Cleared away up to the halfway line by Watford. That was a terrific cross from the captain. And that's it for the first half.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
Bursting through doors, one after the other, trying to find the exit. She turns and she runs back to where she came from. Instinctively, she turns to check, only to see a figure standing in the doorway, writing in the grime on the window. If you're a budding playwright with original material, then I could put you centre stage on the BBC. Head to bbc.co.uk/upload.
BBC Upload.
With Rob Jelly.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
10 to 9, you're with Match Night on BBC Radio Suffolk. A reminder, your calls welcome at full time. 0800 141 2121, the number to speak to Mick Mills. Half-time whistle's gone in the 2 8 o'clock kickoffs as note in the Champions League tonight. Liverpool and Real Madrid are goalless at Anfield. Tottenham leading Copenhagen by 1-0. Earlier in the 5:45 kickoff, Arsenal comfortable once again. 3-0 they won in Slavia Prague. Let's run you through tonight in the Championship. The leaders Coventry trailing 1-0 at home to Sheffield United. Half-time whistle's just gone in that one. Middlesbrough also a goal down at Leicester. Stoke 2 up at Oxford. Derby 1, Hull 0. Blackburn 1 up at Bristol City. Birmingham City leading Millwall 2-0. And it's Charlton 0, West Brom 0 at the Valley. 1-1 in our main feature. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley for the second half.
As Ipswich Town come out of the tunnel just ahead of Watford Town in blue, white, blue. Watford in yellow-bodied strips with the red stripes, red shorts, red socks. Yet to see them surface for the second half. Town, as they were for that first 45, they made 3 changes ahead of kick-off. Davis, Taylor and Nunez all went out. This is the team that's about to resume this match. Walton will be in the goal off to our right-hand side. Then a back four of Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Johnson. And there's Matthew Seward alongside Kiyuste. The 3 of Eggerly, Akpom and Philogene. Up front is Hurst. On the bench, Button, Clark, Taylor, Young, Humphreys, Greaves, Nunez, McAteer and Athon back involved, which is good. The goal scorer Philogene after 21 minutes. Selvik is the Watford goalkeeper in all pink in front of the north stand. His back four is Ngakia, Abankwah, Pollock and Bowler. Then it's down the right hand side Ince, down the left Barr, who's on a yellow card. In the middle there, goal scorer and captain Loser alongside Kiprianu. Up front Samedo and Doumbia. On the bench Baxter, Elaine, Kirungo, Sissoko, Morris, Petri, Kayembe, Maama and Aaron Kundu. And it is going to be Watford who are kicking off at the start of this second half. Mr. Webb, the referee, who didn't endear himself to the home crowd in that first period, has the yellow ball in his hand. Just George Hurst having a word with a man with the whistle. There's a few stewards, backroom staff, just get themselves off the playing surface. And now there are just 23 people out there ready to get this second half underway under the lights at Portman Road. It was good atmosphere in that first half. Town went behind the goal from Loser after 16. Watford's lead just lasted 5 minutes. Fine through ball from Kipre. The chance converted by Philogene on half a dozen now for the season. As the whistle goes for the second half, it's back with Selvik. Long left footer from the keeper, which O'Shea meets with his forehead. Over on the far side, the number 16 loops the ball up in the air, Bowler. Ipswich have it in midfield with Kiyuste to this left, and Johnson directly in front of Kieran McKenna. Gives it back to Cedric Kipred. A really nice chat to Alan Judge at half-time. Recently announced his retirement. He's on media duties here at Portman Road tonight. He was impressed with Ipswich Town in the first half and said pretty much what we were saying about Watford being a group of individuals, particularly like Sindra Waller-Eggerly, he was telling me. As now O'Shea has the ball in central defence. Kipre along the floor to Kiyuste. Down the line, Philogene controls it and gives it back to O'Shea. This is definitely, based on what we saw in the previous 45 minutes, an opportunity for Ipswich Town to make it 5 wins in 6 here. Disappointing if they didn't on what we've seen so far. Without lots of goalmouth action, it has to be said. They were the better team. Kiyuste to Philogene, understandably continuing to play with such belief in himself. Philogene, why not when you're in this kind of form? Once again, the ball is with O'Shea. Town passing it around, but all in the middle third at the moment. Watford chasing shadows. Eggerly goes to the back pedalling Furlong. Now Dara O'Shea steps forward, gives it to Kipre. Just going into Watford territory. Ball down the line to Philogene. This has been really good play from Ipswich Town. Philogene coming in field, 30 yards from goal. He's run centrally, plays it along the deck to Eggerly. This would be a lovely goal if Town can score from this move. Furlong crosses deep towards the far stick. Out of play it goes. Nothing doing on this occasion.
Yeah, it's good play
Hurst's
again.
involved in something. He's having his collar dragged up by a Watford defender. Sorry, McMills.
Yeah, good play there by Town again. Patient down the left-hand side, and then they get that ball out to the right-hand side where Egley gets possession of it. Furlong straight away is going on the overlap, and that's good play. They're beginning to work together rather than what we saw when they first went together. You probably would put them about 40 yards apart all the time, never really getting close to each other. Now, it's much better. It's more like Davis and Philogene. There's a partnership there. There's a togetherness, and they're playing much closer to one another.
69th league meeting between these two sides, level on 25 wins each heading into this game, and this one still very much level between these two teams as Loser, the first goal scorer, wins an important header down for Cipriani. He lifts it up to the far side and controlled by Bowler, who'll glide over the halfway line. He's got Barr very close to him. That's Watford's left side combination. Back to the left sided centre half, Pollock. Made his debut as a 17-year-old for Grimsby. Pollock been at Watford a fair number of years now, and his debut against an Exeter side back in the day that featured both Dara O'Shea and Chio Ogbeni. Now it's with Kiyuste back to O'Shea. I must admit, until I saw that, I didn't realise he had a spell with Chio Ogbeni at Exeter early on in his career. Here is Matu Siwa. Now Kipre going all the way back to Walton. Walton gets there ahead of Semedo. Now O'Shea back to Walton. Town passing it around at the back. Walton out to Matu Siwa inside his area. Walton again inside his 6-yard box. Goes out to Kipre. Kipre's first touch was heavy. Second, luckily, gets it to Matu Siwa. The big man again. This time pass it out to Kiyuste, trying to turn and just spin away and roll Loser. He's done that. Ball out to the far side. Egley, one-on-one with Bowler. Coming in field, the 19-year-old finds Akpom back to goal in the D. He sets it up for Johnson. Hasn't scored in the league yet this season. 1 goal at Bromley early on in the League Cup, the left back. Philogene, in comes his cross. Yet to score away from home, Philogene. That might change at the weekend. Here he is down the left, Philogene. Sorts his feet out eventually, but eventually loses the ball. Cipriani, the big man in midfield for Watford. Plays it forward, but O'Shea takes it on his chest against Doumbia. Egley, lovely little touch to Matu Siwa. Hurst making a run on the last defender. Matu Siwa plays it to Akpom instead. Akpom inside the area, has a go. Saved by Selvik. It was a fizzing effort from Akpom. Hit really well. There's nobody to tap in the rebound off the goalkeeper as the ball hits the back of Semedo. My money's on Kipre to win this battle. Too strong there for Semedo, who was dragging the number 4 back. Free kick to Ipswich.
Yeah, terrific shot from Akpom. He certainly can strike a ball, and he can get real good pace on it. And it required a good save. It was an excellent shot.
Looking for his first goal, still Akpom. As Town ping it around in a little triangle on the halfway line. O'Shea to Matu Siwa, then Kiyuste. Egley, a little loose from him, well won back by Matu Siwa. Another player that Alan Judge is a big fan of, Azor Matu Siwa, he was saying. Kiyuste gives it away. Barr upended by Matu Siwa. Cipriani plays it against Furlong. Town's still the better side in this game. Furlong. Certainly not writing off Watford. I wouldn't be that daft. They could still go on and win this game, but they've looked nothing at all really so far, albeit they're level of terms with Ipswich Town. Philogene on the left-hand side. Totally fluffed his ball in field. Loser, but he loses the ball. Kiyuste to Philogene. Fancies having a go. Closed down by a couple of players. Eventually crunched to the ground. Loser comes away with the ball. Crowd unhappy with that. They felt it was a foul on Philogene. I'm not sure. Here is Barr running at Furlong on the far side. The ball hit a couple of players. Barr got a lot of good fortune to still have the ball. Somehow has it underneath the Watford fans. Likes to run with it. Skips the challenge of Matu Siwa. He's forced back to Pollock, who has all 10 blue shirts in front of him.
Well, I think the referee missed 2 free kicks, 1 for each side there. He really is one of the most lenient referees I've seen.
He's very lenient. Here is Ince, started his career at Liverpool. Now Loser, probably his best spell of his career in that Blackpool side. I remember him scoring a couple of goals when Ipswich were walloped 6-0 at Bloomfield Road early one season. Pollock striding forward from the back, the number 6. It's half a mind to shoot. He's given it to the edge of the area. Semedo, his little layoff wasn't good enough to Ince. Ince has made something of it though. Now Ngakia, confused, caught in too many minds. Kayuste comes away with the ball. He loses it. Watford get it back through Ngakia after his initial mistake. He made amends for that. Watford having a little go all of a sudden at Ipswich Town. It's a rarity. Barr inside the Town box. Then comes the attempted cross, blocked off by Furlong. It comes back off Barr and out behind goal kick. Let's go back to Graham at 1-1.
Birmingham 3, Millwall 0. Stoke 3 up at Oxford, and Coventry are still trailing 1-0 at home to Sheffield United.
As we always say, strange old division, particularly this season by the looks of things. Not sure what's going on there. Is that an argument between Philogene and Matusiwa? It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's blown up between those two. Kayuste and Walton getting in between the two of them. Philogene having none of it. Wow, that's not particularly clever. Kayuste. Philogene still wants to make something of it. O'Shea is having a word with Matusiwa. Kayuste is smiling at Philogene. Now, Akpom having a word with Philogene. Philogene didn't have as much to say to me when he spoke to me a few weeks ago, but he's certainly got plenty to say to Matusiwa at the moment. He's still cursing him down below us.
Well, we don't want to see that on a night like this. My goodness, if we stick together, we win the game. You know, that's crazy.
It was, bizarre. Here is Walton. Don't know where that came from. Anyway, Walton plays it long, straight downfield. Hurst trying to get in behind. And Hurst wrestled off the ball by Amankwa, but no, says the referee. Again, very lenient Mr. Webb, let that one go. Hurst goes into Amankwa. It's a right old battle between those two. And then as he fouled him, the referee wants a word with George Hurst. And I think Ipswich Town's run of games without a booking is about to end. The referee wants a word with the Town number 9.
Well, all eyes were on George Hurst, weren't they, then?
Yeah.
When they weren't punished for just sort of stopping him from going after the ball towards the goalkeeper. And he's got to go into a quiet moment, you know, after that.
Free kick at the back to Watford. It was a yellow card for George Hurst, his third of the season. He's still at the stage of the campaign where 5 warrants a 1-game ban. Hopefully things have calmed down between Philogene and Matusiwa, although Philogene's still keeping giving glances to the Ipswich Town number 5.
Well, I can't understand it.
Kayuste's having a word with him now to calm himself down and just concentrate on the game. Kayuste's got a massive smile on his face, but Philogene's pointing and he's not letting it go. Very bizarre. Here Watford have the ball. Philogene challenging Ngakia. Back it goes to Abankwa. Still 1-1, 10 minutes gone in the second half. Luzo with a little nod down. Philogene gets the ball, gives it to Johnson, surrounded by 2 or 3 Watford players. All he can do is clear it long as Athon goes out for a warm-up near side. Kieran McKenna did sound fairly positive he'd be able to be involved in this game, that it wasn't anything serious kept him out of QPR. Nunez, Clark and Taylor also gone for a jog, as ever. Plenty of options available to Kieran McKenna. Over on the far side, Watford have it with Bowler. Back to Selvik. He just goes big up to the halfway line where O'Shea heads it forward. Nodded on by Hurst. Egley won't get there. Pollock takes a chance. Selvik wasn't going to get to the ball. Pollock had to turn it away from Egley in the end so that Watford didn't end up embarrassed. Loser side puts the ball back to Selvik. Full match commentary live on BBC Radio Suffolk of Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1, albeit the Liberty Stadium, Swansea on Saturday. Match down air from 2 till 6. It's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Town's final game before that final international break of the calendar year. After that's home to Wrexham, and then that killer 8 days for Ipswich Town fans, away to Hull, away to Oxford and away to Blackburn as we head into December. Philogene, hopefully he's calmed down a bit, gives the ball to Johnson. Johnson in field to Hurst. Johnson's going to try and get back on the ball, but between Ngakia and Abankwa, Watford get the ball back to Selvik. O'Shea up over the top of his man Doumbia. Bowler wins it ahead of Egley. Doumbia does well to keep the ball in on the far side, the young Malian international. Free kick to Watford. The referee is just signalling that Doumbia had his legs scythed from underneath him.
Yeah, we're just letting them creep into the game a little bit. I mean, they're not threatening us, but they're sort of having a little bit more of the ball and a lot more possession, and we're just sort of beginning to sort of sit back a little bit. You know, it might require the substitute sooner or later.
Ball around the back onto the chest of Semedo from that free kick. O'Shea puts his head in where it hurts, and it's gone out to an Ipswich Town ball, possibly for the high boot of Semedo. If you want to have your say on this game, as ever, you're very welcome to. The phone number 0800 141 2121. Chat to Graham and Mick after full time when I'm going down the stairs to speak to Kieran McKenna, or you can text 81333. Start those messages SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Again, pop SFK at the start of those. So it was great to get your opinion on all things Ipswich Town. Here is Walton inside his penalty area, cleared up over the halfway line. Still 2 minutes shy of the hour mark. A lot of football still to go in this game. It's a throw in for Ngakia. Loser out of play under pressure from Philogene.
I don't think the linesman really knew which way to go with that one. He was so late deciding.
Well, if it's going to be a night for a first Ivan Athon goal, or another one from super sub Jack Clark, or maybe it's going to be one of the players out there in blue who gets the third goal of the game before any of them enter the fray. Maybe Marcelino Nunez with his first Portman Road goal. For the moment, Egley, who's having a good game, is brought down. Free kick against Watford, and a first card for one of their players. It's arguably the loudest cheer of the night when Bowler was given the yellow card.
Yeah, but he should have dealt with the ball, Bowler. He shouldn't really be losing possession of this. This is one of the poorest sort of cross-field balls you've ever seen, you know, and the fullback doesn't deal with it. So, you know, he got into a sort of a scrimmage there, and he's got himself booked. He's given Ipswich a free kick. It was really poor play from the fullback.
Free kick to Ipswich, which Ben Johnson is over. He's done okay from his set pieces so far, the 2 or 3 that he's taken. The stand-in left back. I think overall Kieran McKenna will be happy with this performance coming in for Leif Davis. Big shoes to fill. The Geordie. I'll ask Kieran post-match about his chances of making that flight to Swansea on Friday. Leaf. Johnson over this free kick, long way out of the Watford penalty area. Knocks the ball in well, but it's headed off the edge of the box by Ngakia, and as far as Furlong out to the left-hand side, nicely controlled. Excellent control by Philogene. Infield from him towards Kiyuste. He controls it to Matusiwa. Matusiwa brings Egley into play on the right corner of the Watford area. Norwegian comes in field, has a go, left-footed. It's blocked up off a Watford player, then nodded out of their area by Ngakia. Half an hour to play in this match as down goes Kipre, out goes the ball. And the fourth official hasn't had the easiest of nights tonight. Now it's Kieran McKenna and he's right here. And he's just been told, actually, Rennie Gilmartin, the town goalkeeping coach, has been told to calm down by Mr. Rock. Loser. Forward for Watford. Good ball down the right-hand side to pick at Doumbia. Needs support. Forward come the yellow shirts. Doumbia shoots. He didn't need support necessarily. It was a good fizzing effort off his left boot, but over Walton's crossbar in the end.
Yeah, it was a good effort, but the ball from Loser was unbelievably good. Yeah.
It was excellent. Lovely weighted ball down the right-hand side. Clark's getting ready for action. See how many are coming on now. I doubt it's just going to be him. Walton to Kipre, to this left-hand side, and Johnson. He's come on and scored important goals, Clark, throughout the season. Semedo blocked off by Matusiwa against the likes of Derby and Bristol City, the winner against West Brom. Kiyuste finds Hurst, blocked off by Ngakia. Now Loser on the ball, which is not what Ipswich Town need to see. He gives it to Ngakia on the right wing. Low cross into the centre. Well cut out by Matusiwa. Matusiwa's pass finds Akpom. Galloping into space. Akpom still has the ball, goes away from Loser. Gives it to Philogene. Now with O'Shea. No further goals in this second half. Taylor and Athon coming on as well as Clark. Dara O'Shea in towards the centre circle. On the far side he gives it to Furlong. Now Egley up against Bowler. Infield to Matusiwa. Town looking for a breakthrough in the second half to go on and win this game. Kiyuste shields the ball away from Semedo, gives it to Philogene inside the Watford area. Philogene with a bit of trickery, left-footed, plays it into the centre, blocked off back to him, sets it up for Kipre, who sliced it well away. He sliced it that far, it's gone out for a throw-in rather than a goal kick. Let's go back to Graham.
Equaliser for Hull at Derby, 1-1. Equaliser for Coventry at home to Sheffield United, 1-1.
It's 1-1 here as Athon replaces Hurst. That's the first change. Good that George was available for this game after being a tiny doubt. Off goes Philogene, the goal scorer, to be replaced by Clark. It's a good game, Philogene, has played well. Always a danger. Always on the front foot, and Kiyuste goes off to be replaced by Taylor. That's it during this first substitution window. Good to hear from Jack Taylor earlier on match night. Always nice to chat to him. He has had a very good few weeks with this up until now run of starts, and also his new contract. Just saying, didn't hear from earlier on how much he loves living in this part of the world, how he feels settled and happy here, and how he accepts to be one of the more senior, experienced players, and happy to be in the leadership group by the sounds of things. He is anyway. Here is Taylor up towards Clark. Clark gives it back to Matusiwa, who looks up 30 yards out, hits the ball across field to Johnson, controlled by the left back. Clark on the edge of the area, gives it to Taylor. The substitutes immediately making an impact. Taylor has the ball, chance to hit it, deflected at Selvik, but immediately the two Jacks on the ball and causing problems.
Well, they're good, good substitutions to have. They really are. So, let's sort of hope. We were in need of a little bit of a lift. The game had gone a little bit dead as far as our attacking play was concerned.
Still 25 minutes to go in this game. Lots of time for those players to make an impact. Here come Town with Athon just on as a sub. Egley finds Akpom. Akpom inside the area. A chance for Akpom. Blocked off by the last defender. Really good defending by Pollock. Give him credit. Egley in the second phase of the attack knocks it into the Watford area. Headed away again by Pollock, the one-man back line. Butted forward by Kipre. Cleared by Watford into the Town half. Watford about to make 3 changes of their own by the looks of things. Matusiwa out to the far side. Egley, the crowd getting behind Ipswich Town. This is live on BBC Radio Suffolk. And Ipswich Town go on and grab all 3 valuable points from this match and head to Swansea looking for 4 wins in a row. Clark running at the Watford back line, edge of the area. Still Jack Clark has it. Approaching the D, blocked off. He loses the ball. Town win it back through Taylor. He gives it to Kipre. Kipre flicks it up in the air to Matusiwa. Nice control from him, but then he's rolled to the ground by Doumbia, who thinks he can burst away on his own. Well, he can if he likes, but it's not going to count for anything. It's a Town free kick.
Yeah, without question a free kick. I think they're just play acting there, trying to make that burst away from everybody. I think he knew that he had sort of impeded the player and just wanted to buy a little bit of time, just so goalkeeper's down.
Yeah, Selvik might require some attention. Just looking at what the changes. Kayembe is a player we've seen before. He's a kind of enforcer in midfield. He's one of the players that's coming on. Could be the striker Kirango, I think, the Dane who is on loan from Udinese. And the player I'm really looking forward to seeing is this Otman Ma'ama, who's another Moroccan-like loser, only 20, hasn't kicked a ball yet for Watford, but there's a real buzz around this kid. There's talk that Manchester City are already shown an interest in him, which is very part of the Watford model, to bring in unknowns at a low price, take a punt on players and then sell them for millions. But a player, I think, shone at the Under-20 World Cup, winger, he's going to be coming on, so quite attack-minded, these changes. Particularly Kirango, number 9. He'll come on for Doumbia or Semedo, one would have thought. But at the moment, 67 minutes gone. We're not going to see any play anytime soon because Selvik is still down, getting treatment. It was Ipswich Town that had to change their goalkeeper in the last midweek home game. Let's see if Selvik's going to be okay. He's up on his feet. I think he's going to be all right. So no need for Nathan Baxter to get himself stripped off and ready. Yeah, still a really good opportunity this for Ipswich Town, isn't it, McMills, to go on and win this game?
Oh, we definitely can win the game. We needed the substitutions, there's no question about that. We were just going a little bit flat. Now we've got 3 fresh players on. You know, we should, as I say, go on to win the game. This free kick is very, very central.
Yeah, it is. It's a free kick to Ipswich Town, around about 36 yards from goal. No angle whatsoever for Jack Taylor to play with. He's certainly not going for goal. Let's see if we can find one of his teammates in blue off to our left. Into the area it comes. It'll be recycled by O'Shea, wide left outside the Watford area. Back it goes to Johnson. Plenty of players to hit in the centre. Good cross from Johnson. All things considered, he did well. Now Furlong down the right-hand side. It's Eggerly back to Furlong outside the Watford area. Furlong's taken out by Barr, who's on a yellow card. Barr. Crowd want a second yellow for him. What's the referee going to do here? Furlong's certainly been poleaxed. Don't think he's going to get another card for that challenge. He's rushed into it. Caught him late.
No, I don't think he really lifted his foot for the challenge, really. It was a little bit of kidology there, that he was going to make a real serious challenge but didn't go through with it.
I don't know what you're doing as the chant towards Mr. Webb. After all of that, Furlong's up, and Ipswich Town have a free kick as the 3 Watford subs still look on, ready to enter the fray. 1-1 at Portman Road, but as we keep saying, this looks to be a real opportunity for Ipswich Town to bag 3 points, bearing in mind what we've seen from Watford so far. Town have a free kick wide right. It's going to be Eggerly, left-footed, to curl it into the Watford area, headed away off the near post area by Amankwa, nodded forward by Furlong, hasn't been cleared by Watford. O'Shea hooks it into the area. Athon goes for it, but Selvik is quickly out of his 6-yard area and smothers it away.
Yeah, he was lively, the goalkeeper there. He certainly finished that attack off nicely, but we still again haven't quite done enough.
The crowd really unhappy tonight with Watford and this referee. O'Shea to Taylor. I wonder if he'll start on Saturday. Not that Houston did anything wrong tonight, but I'd like to see him come back in the team. Now O'Shea to Kipre. Down the line to Clark. All eyes on Clark. We almost expect him to conjure up something from the bench. On that occasion he can't find Johnson, who'd gone on an overlapping run in front of him. Watford have it with Ngakia. Johnson won't let him go. 2 former West Ham players, and Ngakia got a bit lucky with that clearance. It reached in since, has done his best to lose it. Watford have it back with their goalkeeper Selvik. Left-footed clearance from him. Kipre wins the header. Loser. A couple of keepy-uppy touches, gets the ball under control well, then plays it in field to Kiprianu. Eggerly goes after him, now after Ngaku. Ngaku spins away from Eggerly and plays it in field to Kiprianu. Akpom wins it well for Ipswich Town on the front foot. Now to the left-hand side, Clark with Ngakia. Ngakia's challenge, plays it off of Clark, and it's a goal kick to Watford.
I just sort of waiting. I'm sort of expecting something to sort of good to happen for us to create something, but it isn't coming. There's going to be big changes from Watford now, so let's hope this doesn't improve them.
Yeah, Ince is going off. We know how Charlton were improved by their substitutions a couple of weeks ago. Ma'ama is coming on. Kayembe is coming on for Barr, which makes an awful lot of sense. Barr was walking a disciplinary tightrope. And the other player is Kirumgo, the number 9, who is going to be replacing, as I suspect, one of the front 2, Semedo. So 3 changes made by both managers so far. It's Selvik with this Goal kick for Watford. Might be more changes from the Town bench. I think Nunez has been called back. Which would suggest that's either Efrakpom or less likely Matusiwa. Here comes the left foot of Selvik to clear for Watford. Still those 2 goals in the first 21 minutes, the only ones we've seen in this match. Athon with a head down. He'll be desperate to get his first Ipswich Town goal. Athon hit the woodwork a number of times as the ball goes back to Selvik. 17.5 minutes exactly to play. Watford get the ball up to Kirungo. In slides Kipre. Furlong comes away with the ball, gives it to O'Shea. Taylor gives it back to O'Shea. They'll be away together on international duty, one would imagine, in the next couple of weeks. The likes of Hurst and Egley have already been called up by their countries. Kipre down the left-hand side to Johnson. Egley with the Norwegian under-21s. Taylor takes charge down the left for Ipswich Town. Infield gives it to Clark. Back it goes to Johnson. The sub's trying to make an impact. Now with Johnson, the left back. Infield to Clark. Clark caught by Loser. Free kick. Nunez readying himself for action. Quickly taken by O'Shea to the left-hand side. Taylor outside the Watford area. Johnson's making an overlapping run. He uses him as the decoy. Instead plays it back to Kipre. Kipre to the left-hand side and Johnson. In comes his cross. It's a good-looking ball as well. Headed away. Cleared by Kayembe. Kirungo on a sprint. He's got the better of O'Shea. Opens those long legs of his just on the field. He's fresher than the Irish defender who's got back well. Kirungo, ball into the Ipswich area towards Kayembe. Well intercepted by Kipre. Otherwise, Kayembe might have had a chance to make it 2-1 Watford. Well done, Kipre. Now to Taylor. Looks like it's opening up a bit. Both sides having a go for the winner. Clark controls the ball on the outside of his right boot. Athon's making a run. Clark still has it. Oh, that was for Taylor, but he let it run to Matusiwa. That was a mistake. Kayembe over the top. Ma'ama's going to be on the ball. Right, let's see how good this kid is. He's 1-1. He's one-on-one with Johnson outside the Ipswich area. Plays a ball into the centre, but Walton's there. Head of Kirungo.
Yeah, certainly opened up. I mean, this is the most adventurous we've seen Watford, so maybe they just leave themselves short of the back.
Taylor down the middle. Athon's going to try and make something of that ball. It got stuck between the legs of Pollock. It's really open at the moment. Be surprised if we don't get another goal the way this game's looking at the minute. Ball into the Ipswich area towards Kirungo. Well fielded by Walton. Low down just outside his 6-yard area. Could have been an awkward one to deal with. Here is Taylor. It's like the 119th minute of a cup tie. The gaps out there on the field. Both sides trying to avoid a replay. That's what it looks like just now. Clark in behind for Athon inside the Watford area, left of centre by the byline in front of the Sir Bobby Robson stand. Back to Clark. Jack Clark for Ipswich Town. Gets to the byline. Can't shoot. Still has it. Tries to pull it back for Taylor. Intercepted by Loser. Loser holds on to the ball. Making a run through the middle. Here's Doumbia. He picks out Ma'ama really well again. Loser. Ma'ama wide right outside the Ipswich area. Little ball into the centre. Dealt with by O'Shea. Now it's with Johnson. We're going to see another goal surely, Mick, aren't we, the way it is? Ball forward from Clark. Not enough bend on it for Athon. Out steps Selvik.
I'm just watching this Ma'ama player. He's good going forward, but he's the most reluctant defender I've ever seen.
Loser tries an effort from the halfway line. It was on target, but very easy for Walton. Back to Graham.
At Birmingham 4, Millwall 0. Coventry now ahead against Sheffield United 2-1.
Wow. Sheffield United still can't. I know it's a tough game for them tonight, but still hasn't had the impact I thought Chris Wilder might. Here is O'Shea. Now it's with Taylor. Taylor to Clark. Clark touches it on for himself down the touchline, running forward, attacking the goal off to our left-hand side. Still Clark has it. There's quick feet of his. Clark gets to the byline. Early cross tucked in towards Athon, who gets a toe on it and directs it goalwards, but it's simple for the keeper. Greaves is going to be the 5th and final change for Ipswich Town. So Nunez and Greaves about to come on. It's an interesting one, Greaves. Hopefully it's not another injury out there.
I think he'd be coming on for Johnson. Johnson was sort of running a little bit laboured just now, but I'm not really sure whether he's injured or what. But I would imagine Greaves will come to the left-back position. Nunez is the one that we really need. We need somebody just to work a little bit of magic. Really.
Akpom is going off. I can see the number 29 flashing already down below. So Nunez for Akpom, and then we're suspecting Greaves for Johnson, who I think's done well enough, Johnson, tonight.
Oh, he's done all right, but I think he might be.
So now Ashley Young against his former club. 22 years since he made his Watford debut. Ashley Young, incredible that he's still playing at this level. 750 odd appearances since, still playing in the Championship. But Armour can't link up with loser. Matthew Seaward does well. O'Shea fires a ball to Johnson. Maybe his last involvement is to give it to Clark. 32.5 minutes played in this second half. Kipre back to Taylor. Town will be really disappointed if they don't go on and win this game. Johnson gives it to Clark. He's seen a lot of the ball at the moment, which is no bad thing. Gets the edge of the area, pulls it back for Taylor. Clark once more is on it. Here is O'Shea. Town going to try the luck from the right. Egley has it on the far side. Taking on his man. In comes a good-looking cross, headed down by Athon. Oh, he's got to score. He's 6 yards out. He simply has to convert that for 2-1. It was a fabulous ball in from Egley, who shakes his head. He can't believe that his teammate hasn't scored his first Ipswich goal.
Oh, it's a brilliant ball with his poor right foot, if you like, but it's right on the plate. He's actually tried to possibly steer it into the corner. Didn't need steering, just need power.
What a chance that was. It really was, just looking back at it. Let's hope Ipswich Town get another one of that quality. Greaves for Johnson. So this is the outfield 11 that will finish this game for Ipswich Town. Selvig getting ready to get this game back underway live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Afterwards, 0800 141 2121 to chat to Graham and Mick, or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start those SFK, and we'll start the build up to Swansea on Saturday with the matchday preview. Graham on air between 6 and 7 on Friday night. We'll get John Walk's thoughts on QPR, Watford, and then what he's expecting from South Wales. Headed to the halfway line by Greaves, brought down by Loser. Nunez gets on the ball, given away by Watford. Egley plays it forward. Other 90 minutes in the tank for Sundrawalla Egley as well.
He's done okay today.
I like him as a player.
Not quite had enough of the ball in the second half.
No, he hasn't,
really.
has he? No. Here is a Bankwa playing it forward towards Doumbia, headed away by Kipre. Town certainly don't deserve to lose this game, but sometimes you don't always get what you deserve. They've been the better team. Matthew Seaward robbed by Doumbia, who almost ends up on his back. Free kick to Watford. 10 to go. Just a bit of stoppage time. Will Town need it? Furlong finds O'Shea. In turn, Kipre still has the ball. There's a crowd trying to get behind Ipswich Town, rallying them to hopefully find a way through Watford and somehow get the ball in the net off to our left-hand side. Kipre to Matthew Seaward, showing in the centre circle. Little drag back, then he finds O'Shea. O'Shea rolls it to the far side, and Egley gets the support from Furlong. This would be a frustrating draw if things stay as they are. Clark, Athon's making a run in front of him. Clark holds off his man really well, finds Nunez to the right hand side. Egley on his favoured left boot tries to get his cross in, charged down by Bowler. At as far as Furlong. Furlong then plays it to O'Shea. Town with the ball inside the Watford half. Kipre first time off to Clark, who controls it to Greaves. Greaves down the line finding Clark. Back to Greaves, excellent play this from these two. Greaves inside the area, back to Taylor, who gets underneath it from 12-13 yards and puts it over the bar.
It wasn't as easy as it looked, I don't think. I think that the challenge was coming, or the block was coming in, and he felt he had to lift it, and maybe he didn't. But good move. between Clark and Greaves. You know, it's a set-up. I think the challenge or the potential block was coming quickly, so he had to hit it as early as possible.
Change for Watford. Mamadou Doumbia has gone off to be replaced by Nestori Irankanduna, who's an Australian striker. I think he had a little bit of time with Bayern Munich early on in his career. A couple of goals for them so far, just 19. Another one of those players they're trying to invest in for the future. So he's going to go up front, the number 60 on his back. Irankunda. Watford with Furlong. Furlong heads it to halfway, nodded down by Athon. He'll be desperate to get another opportunity, or for at least for Ipswich Town to score somehow in this final 7.5 minutes. Closed down the clearance of O'Shea by Kirungo. And again, we've got the 2 balls on the field situation. So a completely new look front two for Watford. Irankunda and Kirungo. Walton, edge of his 6-yard area. Left foot fires it up towards Athon. One in the air by Abankwa. Nunez to Athon. Clark now for Ipswich again. Has the ball under control on the halfway line. Gives it away straight to Maama. He's going to then hold off Clark down this right-hand side for Watford, getting towards the corner flag. Still has the ball on his Watford debut. In goes Clark's challenge. Maama's won a corner kick for Watford, the first for either side in this second half, with 6.5 minutes to go. Watford have got a player down on the halfway line, so there might be a little break in play.
We've not really had the control in this half that we had in the first half. I thought in the first half we had pretty much complete control of the game, you know, and it was just a question of creating a few opportunities, which we failed to do. This half it's been different.
Still a break in play. It's Cipriani getting treatment, so let's go back to Graham at 1-1.
It's a funny division, this, isn't it? Derby 2, Hull 1. This would be a 4th straight win for Derby, and the live table level on points with Town all of a sudden.
Well, it could be like this all the way through. A big defeat for Millwall as well tonight. Hopefully what will turn out to be a big win for Ipswich Town if they can get a goal in the next 5 minutes plus added on, because of this latest stoppage and all the changes. Probably got another at least 10 minutes worth of football to watch. For the moment we're not watching any football. Cipriano's just finally been helped up to his feet. As Town have all 10 blue shirts back in the penalty area off to our right. Only 2 Watford players in there at the moment, but they're now going to start to come forward in dribs and drabs to see what they can do from this loser corner kick. Only the 5th corner actually in the game in total. Watford's first of the second half. Town yet to have one. Cipriano's height isn't going to be in the mix for this one, which is handy as far as Ipswich Town are concerned.
Yeah, they've only got one real big player left on the pitch, and that's the number 9.
Yeah, Kirungo is in there. Irankunda is in and around the penalty spot next to Nunez. Watford trying to win it through a smash and grab. Ball into box, well held by Walton at full stretch. Good work from him. Fans want a quick break. Nunez has sprinted to the far side, so to Egley. Walton there has gone short to O'Shea. Now it's with Matusiwa. Matusiwa up to Egley. Egley gives it back to Furlong. Another partnership that's forming nicely in recent games. Furlong and Egley down the right. Now it's with O'Shea. He finds Egley. Approaching the final 4 minutes of normal time. Can Ipswich Town go on and win this game? Too heavy a touch from Nunez. Good strong challenge by Pollock. Javi Gracia very animated down below us, as he has been since pretty much quarter day, it has to be said. Now Greaves on it, left back. He then gives it to Kipre. 4th different player who's played left back in these last 2 games for Ipswich Town. Greaves. Nice play from Greaves, taking on and beating Maama. Now Clark wide left outside the Watford area. In comes his cross. It's a dangerous one. Saved by the goalkeeper. The header was from Athon. Nunez couldn't knock it back into the net, and play continues. When Athon headed that, he must have thought he'd scored. It was a good bit of goalkeeping from Selvik. Here come Ipswich Town again. Egerle to Nunez, overlapping wide right. In comes his low-driven cross off the thighs of Pollock. Egerle gets it briefly, cleared away not very well by Watford. Comes back to Nunez inside the Watford area. Now Egerle left-footed, blocked away. Nunez has scored against Watford already this season for Norwich. Here comes another change. Final one of the night for Watford as Walton has the ball outside of his penalty area. I think Cipriano is coming off imminently. Kipre for Ipswich Town. Ball in behind for Athon. Lovely ball from Kipre. Athon's got onto it inside the area. Blocked off by the defender, Amankwat, and out for a corner to Ipswich.
Athon is so unlucky. I mean, he could have had himself 3 goals, really. I mean, 2 of his efforts have actually ended up in the back of the net, but he's so unlucky not to have got at least one.
Sissoko, experienced former Newcastle and Tottenham midfielder, the Frenchman coming on for Cipriano imminently. We're in the 88th minute at Portman Road. All eyes on the North Stand penalty area off to our left. Clark on this corner kick for Ipswich Town, their first of the second half. Hangs it towards the far stick, headed down by O'Shea towards the goal line. Athon went up. It's Nunez who slices it wide from 5 yards. Is it going to be one of those nights for Ipswich Town? That was another terrific chance to win it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the referee. I'm not sure whether he's given a free kick on it, but it's an awful miss.
Goodness me!
If that wasn't given the free kick against the goalkeeper, then it's a terrible miss.
It really is. What a chance! Here comes the change finally for Watford. Well, maybe we aren't going to see a goal in this second half. Should have done. Athon's had a couple of chances. That one for Nunez was a really good one. Approaching the 90th minute, Cipriano under no pressure and no great rush to get off the field. So Saturday, full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. We're on air match day 2 till 6. Swansea City hosting Ipswich Town. The next game here is 2 weeks later, also against Welsh opposition, when Wrexham come to Portman Road for the first time in a long old while. Kiefer Moore, Nathan Broadhead and co. Next time the board goes up underneath us, it'll be to tell us how much added on time there is. Expecting a minimum of 5, could easily be more.
I think I'd go for more.
Let's hope so. Selvik, left-footed, clears over the halfway line, nodded on by Kirungo. Joran Kunda trying to get involved for the first time. Ma'ama sees that on the far side for a throw to Watford underneath their supporters. The Watford fans chanting "Watford till I die" on the far side. Whilst it wouldn't be the first away win of the season for them, a decent point given the way this game has gone.
Looks like 7 minutes to me.
Yes, 7 minutes of added on time, which we're going into. Headed away by Furlong, nodded forward by Kayembe. Should go up behind for a goal kick to Walton at pretty much the start of this added on 7 minutes. Nice seeing the Ipswich Witches on the pitch at half-time with the Speedway's Premiership trophy. Fabio Wardley also went out with his WBO interim heavyweight belt as well. Ned Sheeran in attendance watching this game tonight. Furlong to Athon, good control from the Spaniard, swipes it to his left and Greaves, down the line to Clark. When this man's on the ball, there's a chance. Clark, little ball to the overlapping Greaves, who's done well, but across will come a Manquo. He's had a good game at the back for Watford. Out it goes for a throw to Ipswich outside the Watford penalty area.
Yeah, he's a tidy left back, really. I mean, he's definitely is his best position is centre back, but he can do a little job at left back as well.
Furlong with this throw for Ipswich Town outside the Watford penalty area in the second minute of the added on 7. It's still 1-1 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Is there a hero in blue out there as Furlong throws the ball into the box? Kipre went towards it, cleared away by Ma'ama, chasing after Irankunda, but Matusiwa gets there first and takes it on his chest. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, terrible mistake from Matusiwa. Thankfully the ball went out of play because Irankunda was away. Oh, I don't know what he was doing. I thought he should have just been happy to get it out. Matusiwa tried to keep it in play and almost kept it in play for Irankunda.
That was a worry.
That was a massive worry. throw in to Watford on the far side of the field. That was almost a terrible mistake from the Dutchman, usually dependable. So can Ipswich Town extend their winning run to 3 matches, or are they going to end up still looking for their first midweek win of the season when we go to Hull? Here is Kirumgo. O'Shea takes it out under pressure for a very cheap corner kick to Watford. Again, Town drag everyone back.
Well, it was a heavy touch, unnecessary touch from O'Shea. You know, he should have dealt with that situation much better than he did.
Loser. It's a little bit of height out there for Watford. Both centre-halves are in the mix. Kayembe looks 6 foot. Maama's in the D, waiting for anything that drops down to him. Loser with this corner kick for Watford. Kayembe tried to flick on, but he was being marshalled by Furlong, who the ball has come off. It's another corner kick to Watford. That's a nervy Portman Road, it has to be said. Kayembe offers himself up short. Loser waves him away. Loser with this corner kick for Watford into the Ipswich area. It comes, met by Athon. Good defending by the striker. One back by Irankunda. Back out to Loser. Loser crossed into the Ipswich area, deflected, headed away again by Athon. Excellent work from him, back defending. Still 4 minutes of the added on 7 to play. Here come Watford. Sissoko, it's Irankunda bursting into the Ipswich area. A bank was up there as well. Town can't quite clear their lines just yet. Clark does in the end. Missed by the Watford man in the centre. Nunez to the right-hand side. Eggerly. Forward come the blue shirts. Town trying to win it late. Ball forward from Eggerly. Nunez won't get on it. It's cut out and taken away by Sissoko. Matusiwa controls the ball in midfield on his chest. Midway through the added on 7 minutes. Town have it with Eggerly. There is still time to go on and win this game. Eggerly's left-footed cross into the middle. Glancing header isn't a good one by the Watford defender. Town still able to press, but Watford have it with Maama at right back. Clears it off Clark. Goal kick. The Watford bench all applaud.
Well, there was a potential sort of breakaway there by Town, but I must admit that there were a lot of very honest yellow shirts there as well, making the run back into defence, and it all closed up.
94 minutes played under the lights at Portman Road, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Are we to see a dramatic winner? Because that's the territory we're in now, if we are to see one. Otherwise, it's a 1-1 draw. Loser, the first goal scorer of the night, gets it up towards Irankunda, takes it on his chest after Kipre. Made a bit of a mess of things. Loser tries to find Sissoko on this right-hand side. Sissoko has the ball. Almost 600 league appearances in his career. Experienced Frenchman. As Greaves keeps hold of the ball. Walton told him to. Now with Matusiwa up against Irankunda. Taylor goes back to Greaves at left back. Greaves finds Walton. Walton over the top of Athon. Loser brings it down, but even for Nunez. Nunez's touch finds Taylor. Now Matusiwa in midfield towards Furlong. Time is of the essence into the final 2 minutes of added on time. Eggerly has it. He's certainly a player that can conjure something up. Back it goes to Furlong. A few fans are starting to disappear. Nunez on the right wing for Ipswich Town wins the throw-in off of Maama. Nunez throws it to Furlong. 90 seconds to play in this game. O'Shea, the captain of Ipswich. Back to Walton. Crowd don't like that. Walton bang in the centre of the Ipswich Town half. Left-footed, belts it forward out to Furlong on the far side. Furlong up against Maama. The ball's come off the visiting player. Furlong throws it quickly. Marcelino Nunez. Infield to Taylor, right in the centre of the Watford half. Can Town get a late winner? Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Taylor sets himself, shoots, blocked off by Loser. Headed up by Kirumgo, taken on the chest of Kipre. Kipre lofts it into the area, but the keeper will get there. And it's looking more and more likely to finish 1-1 in the final 40 seconds now. There's a bit of afters involving Nunez. Athon trying to play peacemaker with Sissoko and Pollock. 20 seconds to go now that Selvig's held on to the ball and then put it outside of his area before putting his laces through the ball. O'Shea wins the header for Ipswich over halfway, sliced out of play by Bowler. Through for Ipswich Town, far side. Got to get the ball forward now or never. Time is running out for Ipswich Town to go on and win this game. They're not going to win it. It's going to be a 1-1 draw, which will please the visitors Watford a lot more than it does Ipswich Town. Town the better side, but could not win for the third game in a row. It has finished on as even. Both goals in the first half from Loser and Philogene. Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1.
Yeah, for me it's a poor result. It's a poor performance in the end, because we should have, won this game comfortable. I really, I didn't really see anything in the Watford team at all, apart from Loser, the central midfield player. He can't play either. Everything, can't do everything on his own. And first half okay, fairly measured, reasonably good performance without creating good chances for us to go into an unassailable lead, which is roughly where we should have been. We should have, we should have had this team dead and buried. We really should have done, but we allowed them to come, get their goal, which they shouldn't have done. It was Luz who got it. But the second half, I was really frustrated with the second half, because the first part of it, we lost our way, no question. We were nowhere near as good in that early part of the second half as we were throughout the first half. It needed the substitutes. You were actually for once wanting, Kieran to go to his bench and bring some fresh players on, because the group that were on there weren't getting the opportunities that they should have done. But then the substitutes came on, and I think they just flattered to deceive, really. They didn't really make any difference to the game. I think Azon is the man that's had the chance that could have won it for us. Watford haven't particularly had any chances to win it. They've fired a few crosses into the box, which made them look a threat, but they weren't ever coming to anything. I think we've lost 2 points here tonight really badly. I really do. I saw absolutely nothing in the Watford team. It required just a reasonable performance from us to win the game, but we couldn't produce it.
Yeah, disappointing. I've just been trying to see if Philogene and Matosiwa have made up. Matosiwa's been getting a lot of love from various people, Jacob Greaves, Cameron Humphreys and Kieran McKenna amongst them. I haven't seen the two of them together just yet. That was a rather unsightly incident when they had a bust up in that second half, and yeah, I agree exactly with what Mick was saying. A missed opportunity this for Ipswich Town. 2 points dropped, but it is a point bagged, I guess, overall. They haven't lost this game like they did against Charlton a couple of weeks ago, but it has finished Ipswich Town 1, Watford 1.